How's everybody doing today? This is New Era Gardener, also known as NEG. And probably a couple of videos ago, I actually talked about a couple of my bins being a little too much moisture. And the way our bins get too much moisture is sometimes not enough ventilation. Another thing is overfeeding. Or sometimes it's from the amount of worms you have in your bin. So this bin was a little moist when I checked it, going through the bins, checking them, making sure they're nice and healthy. Was a little moist, and I like it. So as you can see, I left a couple of the bins open so that it could start to dry out, let out its own moisture, and it actually did help. But still at the bottom, we're still a little moist. I mean, you can see the clumps. It's not clumping bad, but where it's soggy, but it is a little more moist than I like it to be. So in that video, I talked about ways that you can bring down the moisture in these bins. So what I'm going to show you is a couple different, well, I'm going to show you my way, but there are several different ways. If you find that your bin is too moist halfway through before you're going to be harvesting it, you can just add more newspaper and cardboard to it. That's going to suck up moisture. You could do as I did. I left the bin open overnight, let some of that moisture out. Or if your bin just doesn't have enough ventilation, you can add more holes. I have about a total of 6 holes in here. They're probably about an inch to an inch and a half wide, with screen over them to let out moisture. You probably can use a little more, but what you want to do is just make sure you have enough ventilation, and then don't overfeed. I try not to overfeed my bins. As I get close to the time that my bins are going to be harvested, I stop feeding them any organic matter, any blended food, anything like that, and just strict to just using worm chow or my manure. And they will devour that manure and everything before you're going to harvest. And then I may not actually feed them, probably 2 to 3 days before I'm going to harvest. That way any bits of food aren't left behind. They're going to devour everything when there's nothing else for them to eat. So what we're going to do is I make my own Bio Char. This Bio Char is a little moist. It does have some moisture content in it due to when you quench it after you make it. So there is some moisture already in here, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is, this is 1 coffee can full of Bio Char. All you would do is add that in, and my size is nuggets, what I call nuggets or pieces. So what you want to do, you can tell it's good. So what I want to do is just kind of thoroughly blend it in. I have 3 bins to do this too, but for sake of just showing a way of being able to control your moisture, this is a good way to actually do it. Because also, for me, because I do make active biochar, the biochar is going to start sucking up the moisture, the nutrients, and the microbes, and the biology is looking for somewhere to go. It's going to go into that biochar. So I'm going to have, active biochar when I am finished with this bin and harvest it. So that's always a good thing. I just put one large coffee can of Bio Char in here, and that should be fine. That should start to suck up some of the moisture. I'm going to do that to about 3 of the bins, 2 other bins, and then what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll show you what happened, if it helped. I didn't put a bunch in. If I was halfway through my bin and this bin was too moist, I probably would have added 2 coffee cans full of Bio Char into this particular bin. Now you can add, I used larger pieces, you can use smaller pieces, you can use, I also sift my Bio Char into 3 different sizes. I could have used the powder flake one and mixed in 2 pounds of that into this. That would also suck up the moisture. But I decided to use the bigger ones because I am going to use them also. So, alright, so that's one way that you can use. This is my way of doing it, how I do it. Bins that also have Bio Char, a lot of Bio Char in them already, the moisture content is really good because that Bio Char actually holds that moisture. So that's a good thing. It's a good healthy bin. There's a lot of worms in here. This bin is going to be harvested probably in another week. Probably by the time I get to harvest it, it'll be September, even though it's supposed to be harvested about the 27th of this month. But that's alright. A couple of days is not going to hurt it. It's not like it's going to spoil or the worms are all going to pack up and leave. So if a couple of days goes, it's alright. So once again, this is New Era Gardener. If you like the content, subscribe to the video and leave a comment, like the video. I appreciate the comments and the likes on the videos that I do, so I know what you guys like. So I kind of tailor things to that. But I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the watch time that you guys look at the videos, and that's a big help for me. Alright, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.